I wanted to put this together. We have some awesome agents in our network, and I always want to provide value and kind of what I'm seeing and what's going on, and things that are working for me. And I know I have an awesome group of lady friends here and watching right now too that have so much information to give and to share, and we're all super collaborative because we all win. We can all win. There's enough business out there for all of us to win, and I want that for us. So, with that, just a reminder too, we're going to do a follow-up call in January on this. So long after you've stopped going to the gym and you need to kick in your Q1 business, we're going to do a follow-up. So if you're feeling triggered, I know I am, because I'm going to miss the cruise. We've got a cruise happening in January, the Closers Cruise. So if you guys haven't signed up for that, definitely sign up. Kim, Ryan, Lacey, and a lot of you on the call are going. I went 2 years ago. Doris is going, and it was so much fun. And so definitely Kim can drop. Oh, it's like you've done this before, Kim. Stop
Like
it.
I have.
So Kim's dropped that in the chat. It's a Norwegian cruise. It's not Carnival. So y'all are feeling snobby, just know it's a Norwegian cruise. All right. How we looking, Kim?
We're looking good.
Looking
Y'all
good.
look beautiful this morning. I think we're ready to go. 9:05.
9:05.
Yeah.
That's your cue. Kim's going to take it away with, she's going to give us a quick recap. We all got back from the real convention called Rise. It was in Orlando. And, we came out with some new tech that literally made the room silent, to where Pratesh was like, y'all still there? Like, what is happening? Everyone was just like, it's too crazy. So she's going to give us a quick overview of that. And I know anytime we talk about tech, people have so many questions after. So we're going to do a little Q&A after, and we'll stay on if you guys have any questions about what Real's coming out with. All right, Kim Dean,
Okay.
love you, girl. Take it away.
All right, guys. So I have been tasked with giving you guys a quick recap, a very compelling reason then to why you should be business planning right now. And then I'm going to give you my one-page business plan breakdown. And I only have like 15 to 20 minutes to do that. So if you are a note taker, you can take pictures of the screen. I also am going to be hosting 2 business planning boot camps in the DFW area. So if you're local, you can come to that and get the meat of it all. I'm giving you guys like the appetizer today. You guys can come and get the meat and dessert later. And we can also stay on afterwards today if you want to see more of the tech side of things that Courtney was hinting at. So without further ado, I do have slides I'm going to share today. And I am watching my clock there, Courtney, so that I stay on task. All right. So guys, I thankfully my sweet friend Courtney was there with us to capture this moment. I hadn't been to Epcot or Disney since I was in 5th grade. And so she took the picture, and then I crudely photoshopped out all the people around me. Can you tell that in the photo? Because I wanted it to be just about me. But today we're going to give a quick recap about Rise. So here are some of my big takeaways from the event. First of all, the overarching theme of the weekend was we is greater than me. And in a time where we can all feel so isolated, right? We've got social media to keep us connected, but in a time where many of us just feel like we're on an island. And so the thing I love about Real the most is that we really do have this sense of community. And that was emphasized from our leadership down with the overall arching theme of we is greater than me. And Tamir ended the conference. Tamir is our CEO, by giving a beautiful message about hope. So I thought it was a really interesting contrast to how he started the conference on day 1, giving us the real grim statistics of where our year has been. So if you think this year has been somewhat bipolar, drop a 1 in the chat to say, yeah, I agree with you, Kim. I don't know what's going on. The market's bananas, right? And so we all kind of collectively went, yeah, good. It's not just me, it's you too. Okay, good. We felt we were in a safe space there. But my top takeaways, Sharon. Sharon I have a soft place in my heart for him because he just cuts through all the crap and gives the best takeaways. And so I wrote down, not giving up is the most heroic thing you can do. And how many of you guys at some point during this year said, I'm throwing in the towel? I no longer know how to price a home anymore. At least that's the way I feel. And but sometimes it's just sticking with it. And if you get into rooms like the people were at Rise and going to conferences, it leaves you feeling like I'm not alone. Like, and you leave with this inspiration that yes, I can keep going on. So that was Sharon's big takeaway for me. And then Neil Dingra, if you don't follow Neil, you need to go find him on Instagram. He's at Neil Home. He runs the Forward Movement, which is a brilliant community for anyone in the real estate space and other entrepreneurs. And the slide I took a picture from him, it said, Your someday list is really just dreams you're scared to execute. And whether that's you this year thinking, someday I'm going to start that YouTube channel, or someday I'm going to get the courage up to use AI or make video, don't do it because you're holding yourself back from all the blessings that could have already come your way if you just would have said yes and done it. Okay. And then last really is the top tech. And, they announced Hey Leo for clients, which was mind blowing. There was the new AI or the Leo co-pilots that help us as agents save time and get the answers we need and save minutes in our day. It was just the mind-blowing tech to where Courtney hinted at. We were all kind of sitting there with our jaw like this because they kept going, but wait, there's more. And if you like that, but wait, there's more. And so that was my favorite thing because I geek out about tech. Okay. And then lastly, I just left inspired to be in a room with people who can think bigger and are smarter than me. It is always my goal every year to be the dumbest person in the room. Well, check mark on that because I always leave feeling like I was the dumbest person in the room. And I walked out of that room confident, knowing that I could take on 2026 with the things that I was learning. So here's what I will say when you go to any kind of conference, and to wrap this up, is connection creates change more than information ever will. So yes, while it was great that I learned all the things about AI and how to run my business with a zero budget and all the great things learned in breakouts, if I didn't make connection with other people, I might still leave that conference feeling the same way. Maybe not changed, maybe not motivated, right? But meeting people from all over the country, learning and sharing, it fills my cup. And I definitely left with it full. And so, and last on that, if you don't implement something within 7 days, I have found after leaving a conference or an event, chances are you're not going to. So if that is you and you're sitting on the call like I was at Rise, but I haven't implemented a thing, today decide what is the one thing you're going to implement that you took away from that you haven't started on yet. All right, so that's my fast Rise recap. Now, I did infuse some fun photos throughout this that you're going to love. This was yours truly, Courtney and Gabe. On the last night of the conference, there was the big Hard Rock party where we had leadership on the dance floor in full costume dancing right along with us, which I loved. And so let Post Malone and Jelly Roll there encourage you and tell you why business planning matters going into 2026. And it's this. This is my 23rd year in the business. And here's what I've learned is the market does not care if you're tired. It doesn't matter if you are overwhelmed, if you're stretched too thin, if you get a diagnosis, but a business plan can help keep you on course. It can center you and bring you back in the midst of chaos. If you have a plan, you know you can go back to it. Okay. So doing all the things that I do, that is what keeps me from burnout. Now, I'm not saying I haven't been there, right? But without this plan, I know I would have gone there way sooner. All right. So a business plan will give you clarity. It gives you the guardrails that you need, maybe the blinders, and it gives you the priorities. So if you're working that day, you're like, okay, where am I focusing my time? You know directly where to go because there's so many ways we could go in this business, so many shiny objects. And this is shiny object protection. Okay. And if you don't choose your goals, here in red, it says the market will choose them for you. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to put my success in the hands of the market because the market this year was batshit crazy. I can say that because this is Courtney's call and she cusses. So, so 2026, guys, is going to be a take market share season. We're going to have people leave the business who are not cut out for this, but if you're on this call, that means you are cut out for it. So let's get that plan together. How am I doing on time? Good. Okay, so here's how we're going to quickly audit what just happened this year. These are the things that you're going to want to work at. And I put in some of my own takeaways underneath here. So if you're taking notes, jot this down real quick, take a picture. 5 things you need to audit. 1, what worked? What did you put time and effort into and you actually saw dollars from? Because as I said on Courtney's podcast, if you did something and you didn't make money from it, you had just had a very expensive hobby. Right? If social media is something you put a lot of time into, but you got zero business from, that was a very expensive hobby. But what did work? Write those things down. What worked for me is I selling out some of my retreats because that was in my zone of genius. That is where I stayed authentic and had connection. What didn't work? What did not work? When you overload, for me, when I overloaded my calendar with things and took on too many things, and it took me away from my zone of genius. What were those things for you? Was it maybe taking on clients who didn't have a real strong motivation or sense of urgency to sell? Did you overprice a home just for the sake of taking a listing? So what served you and what didn't? And then last, you need to know what surprised you. What surprised you this year, caught you off guard? For me, truly, it was the market, and that was out of my hands, but it's the bipolarity, that's a word, of the market. That caught me off guard. I haven't seen a market like this in ages. Do you guys agree? And so that caught me off guard. And the second thing that surprised me was truly the expansive growth I saw within this network and within this group this year. And that just told me that people are hungry for community. They're hungry for being in rooms with people who think differently and smarter or more creative. And I love that. Okay. You need to know also where your business actually came from. I'm a tracker. I track everything. So on our closings, I know who referred me. I know where it came from. And for me, what worked and where my business actually came from was my database, from staying consistent with them and the relationships that I was making along the way, constantly feeding and growing that database. What was it for you? Where did the business actually come from? If you looked at your year and you're like, man, I converted 50% of the leads that came through my open house. Number 1, I want to get you on a call because congratulations. But number 2, maybe you should double down on doing more of that next year, right? So yeah. And then lastly, habit check. What were your habits surrounding you as an entrepreneur? Did you get enough sleep? Did you work out? Were you paying attention to your other relationships? Because sometimes when our business does really, really well, other parts of our life suck and suffer. So what can we do for our other habits to support us as a person, as an entrepreneur? So here's the question I want to leave you with here is, if 2025 repeated itself out exactly the same, would you be satisfied? And if your answer is no, then something's got to change, right? And so now's the time to put the plan into place and decide, what are you changing? Okay, next. So here are some key numbers that you need to know going into your plan. And if you track your business, then you probably already have these on a spreadsheet. If not, take an hour today and go find them. Number 1, income earned. You need to know your average commission check. You need to know how many deals you sold. And also, if you were tracking appointments, how many of those converted into closed sales? You need to know where every single closing originated. Was it your neighbor? Was it through the farming postcards? Was it through every time you make this type of content, you get a lead from it, right? So where did every closing originate? And then from that, I want you to highlight your number 1 top lead source return on your investment, okay? Because when we know the top 1 or 2, then we know where to 10x for next year. You need to also keep a pulse on your database. So when you open up your database, I feel there's 2 kinds of people. There's one, the kind of people that they look at it and they're like, this is a hot freaking mess that looks like a tornado went through it, and I don't know what happened to it. And then there's others that you know exactly what's going on with your database. You have complete contact information for every lead. You have a phone number, you have an email address, you have a mailing address, you have birth dates, you have kids' birthdays, you have the dog's birthday, right? How how is your database doing? And do you have complete information or do you need to clean it up? You also need to know your monthly and your annual expenses. Because if you've got a million different subscriptions and you're not getting money from them, it's time to cut some dead weight there. And last, your hours spent in your dollar productive work versus reactive work. Some call this working in your business or on versus on your business. So again, I'm short on time today, but take a picture of this, and this is what you need to know coming into sitting down to create the business plan. All right. So this is our last slide, and this is how I know I've been in a million different business planning classes. I've heard different strategies and ways to do it, but this is what I come back to every single time when I make my business plan because it allows for you to create a simple one page, maybe front and back, but business plan. And I'm going to walk you through the 5 steps for it. Again, today is high level. If you want to know the nitty gritty, come back later. Okay. But number one, it starts with knowing your numbers because we need to I like to give a unit goal. Okay. So you're going to start with your income. How much do you want to make next year? 250,000. Great. Divide that by your average commission check that you just had last year. And that's going to give you how many units you need to sell. Easy. Great at maths. Now that we know that and we know the number goal, you're going to move into envisioning the outcome. And this is where Ryann really comes in with her strength because you can envision the outcome. And studies show that when you tie an emotion to achieving that goal, you are more likely to hit it. And for so many years, I overlooked this part, right? So I want you to say, okay, if I'm selling 50 homes this year, what does it feel like? And what does my life look like when I hit that? Right? Because you can't hit a goal that you don't emotionally believe in. Once you know that, you can move into the third component, and that is knowing your 3 to 5 lead gen pillars. This is where you're spending your time. I often meet with agents who come to me with ideas, and they're like, Kim, so the high school is doing advertisements, and should I spend $1,000 on an ad? And I'm going to say, well, what's on your business plan? Like, "Oh, yeah, I don't have that as part of this." Okay, then no, you're not taking that $1,000 there. You're actually gonna put that money where you have said you want to spend your time and resources. Maybe you could take that $1,000 and throw a really kick-ass dinner for some of your best referral clients and have an intimate dinner at a very nice place. That will give you far better return than if you had spent that $1,000 on an ad, right, in a program. So knowing your 3 to 5 lead gen pillars, and that is what you will do. That is your blinders. Okay. And so you will know that because you're going to go to what you did last year and see where you actually got business from. And so it should be very easy to decide upon those 3 to 5 lead gen pillars. Maybe it's your sphere, social media, maybe it's open houses, maybe it's farming. Decide what it is for you. But master 3 of those really solidly before you add on a fourth or before you add on a fifth. Are you with me? Okay. Now that you know that, the hardest part in all this, and now that we have Chat GPT, it's actually going to make your lives a lot easier. You're going to break down that lead gen idea into well, actually, sorry, before you do that, I skipped a step. You want to decide how many pieces of business you want from each of those lead gen pillars. So if your sphere is one of your lead gen pillars, then I might say, I want 65% of my business. That's what happened last year. So I'm going to do 65% from my sphere. That might translate into 20 transactions. From agent referrals, I want 6. From social media, I want 4. But decide what it is ahead of time so you can keep your eye on the prize. All right. And then the last step, and this is where you'll have chat help you. You'll tell Chat GPT, Chat, one of my lead gen pillars is social media and getting clients from social media. Help me come up with 5 to 8 action items that I can do each week or each month in order to bring me that number of transactions per year. And then you're just going to list out those activities. And guess what? Once you have those activities, that is what goes on your calendar. And now you have your entire business plan in one page. Okay. If you like this and if you want the worksheet to support that, you can scan this right now, or I'll also send Courtney the link and she can share it with you guys. But this will take you to a folder with some resources for you that will walk you through this guide and walking you through come up with this one-page business plan. And then I'll also share out the dates of my business planning boot camp where you can come and really dive deep into the meat of this. Okay. So, Courtney, I think I did it in my 20 minutes, friend.
My God, you have
Woohoo!
like 2 minutes left over because I
Yeah.
readjusted. I readjusted for the lateness for me. Um,
Okay.
that was amazing. Thank you, Kim. I
You
appreciate
are
it.
so welcome.
I need to sit down with you and go through this because I always say Kim is my organization part of my brain that I do not have. I do not have it, which I think is so interesting. And you're going to hear Lacey talk next. Um, yeah, I mean, everyone knows I get my business from social media. I've had 93 referrals from TikTok since January of this year. I'm actually having one of my best years ever. It's still not where I want it to be. Ryan, we'll talk about that later. Look at her. She's already like, stop with your negative lack talk, Courtney. Stop. Stop it. Um, but I'm having a great year and it has to do with community, it has to do with social media. And so we're going to talk about that later too. And but we've got Lacey Brutschy up next, the queen of Dallas TikTok. And I think we break the internet, Lacey, when we were in Orlando together and we did the
The bees in
the,
the trap video?
the
Yes, we did.
the
Yeah.
viral dance. People were like, "I didn't know you guys knew each other." Like, what? So we were having fun. We were drinking around the world at Epcot, and we may have done a little TikToking while we were there. So that was super fun. So Lacey is going to come at us with some AI and some tech. We were at Metro Tex yesterday, and she was helping me set up my AI avatar. And I just am like this, like a kid in the corner, like, just tell me when you're done. Just tell me when you're done. So, because she deals with me and my ADD brain where I can't digest it all, I asked her to come at us with like the high level top things, like what is actually going to move the needle. I also have no patience for a bunch of shit that they give us that doesn't work. Just to be giving us something to do. I hate extra work. So we're just going to cut to the chase. So with that, Lacey Brutschy, take the floor.
Hey guys, I'm Lacey. It's nice to meet you. Um, I want to show you my screen first. I'm gonna send a request so that way I can turn it on.
There you go. You have permission now. I grant you
Awesome.
permission.
Thank you for granting. I sure do appreciate it. All right. Can you guys see my screen? Kind of, sort of, maybe. Perfect.
Yes.
So there.
We see all your tabs that are open.
We can see all your tabs.
Yeah.
Good thing that nothing's weird. So I want to go over some high level things that we're using right now in AI and in social media. So I'm going to walk you through what I use currently, and then how to set it up for yourself. So I have 15 minutes and I'm setting my timer right now. So the first thing I want to show you is how to find different content. So if you're sitting there and you don't know what to post about or blog about or talk about, there are several ways that we can find hyper local things going on in your community that you want to speak about. So sometimes what I will do is go into different subreddits for different communities. You can see here I'm on reddit.com with the Dallas subreddit. And then what I do is I organize it based on top stories from this week. This is the only way that you can organize things by date posted. So that way you're not posting things from, let's say, a month ago. So, what I've found that do very well whenever I'm talking about them are restaurant opening and closings, development, what's going on in different neighborhoods for their development and what's coming down the pipeline, sports, specifically surrounding Cooper Flag, and schools. So this was something that I noticed that had 900 upvotes and 925 comments. So it's looking for a poor quality yet expensive restaurant to recommend to an enemy. Any recommendations? This would make a really great video because you are going to talk about something that will likely make someone angry, much like my Mikasina video where I talk about how Mikasina is for white people who think mayonnaise is spicy. And it is, and I will not apologize for feeling that way. So those videos tend to do very well, and it shows your knowledge of the area. So here I did Dallas, but you can also head to subreddits for Allen, McKinney, Rockwall, North Oak Cliff, Plano, Richardson, Frisco, McKinney, anywhere that you want to do is all located inside of these subreddits. So that's what I would do first. Then, once I'm done looking at the subreddits for different ideas, because I want to see what people are talking about, because whenever AI searches for ideas, it wants to search inside of Reddit. Like the majority of AI search features that are kind of like ChatGPT pull from Reddit stories. So it's another way to make sure that your content is more top of mind and topical. So now that we have talked about the basics of Reddit and how to find things that you want to talk about, what I will do is do something like I'll find that and then I'll put it into ChatGPT. So I've made a viral article chat where I'll go and I'll upload either the text from the Reddit stories or from different things on Dallas news blogs that have come up and are, again, topical and highly talked about. So what I'll do is I'll go in and I'll post something. So let's do, hold on one sec. Let's do top Dallas news stories. Here we go. And we're going to do this because it's something that's been read. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, I'm copy pasting this entire story. You can tell I'm not even reading it. If I could read fast anyway, we would not be working in real estate. Now I'm in this GPT. If you guys want the GPT, drop the word GPT in the chat and I'll make sure that I send it to you. But what I'm going to do is click this. Copy paste it. It gives me a script, an intro, context, impact, and then a call to action. I've set up this custom GPT so that way it has call to actions, different contexts, different hooks, and what I want inside of a hook for this story. So that way it'll just do this automatically. So when I'm done with this, I will go and either record myself in front of a green screen with a background that goes to this, or I will upload it into an avatar that I use, and I will show you that avatar now. This is what Courtney and I were talking about the other day. This is HeyGen AI. That's HEYGEN AI. You can see that I have different products here and different avatars. So the ones that I've used are free. This is my avatar. You can see that it looks pretty good whenever I'm highlighting it. But if it stays on me for longer than 5 seconds, it starts looking noticeably like something that is fake. So what I do is I will upload a 11 Labs voice into HeyGen AI, and it will use my voice with this picture and video. This takes about 90 seconds to actually do. But this way I have an AI avatar talking on my behalf instead of me all the time. And the reason I do this is because I want to plug in twice a day on Instagram so that way Instagram sees that I'm posting often and then starts showing my content to more people. So the goal is to do this for about 6 months and flood the platform. So that way then I start getting more leads from Instagram and it won't just be TikTok. So the next thing that I want to show you is Hey Gen AI, and sorry, I'm going to minimize the screen for a second so that way I can see where we're going. Cool. So this is a deep research tool that I use inside of my business all the time, and this is free, okay? This is ChatGPT on steroids for research and for research purposes only, okay? So, very real use case. I have a client currently purchasing at 2417 Merlin Street in Dallas. She wanted to know whether or not she could build a carport in the back of the property, how big the carport could be, what restrictions there were on building one, and the general cost to do that and how to do it. So what I did is I pulled up the City of Dallas zoning map, and in order to get here, you want to type in City of Dallas GIS, like Sam map, and it'll take you to the City of Dallas zoning map 2.3. It's the same search if you're looking in McKinney, Midlothian, Fort Worth, Keller, every place, okay? So you're going to type in city name, GIS map. It will take you to a map that looks really similar to this. You're going to type in the street address and then go over here to map layers, and you're going to turn on zoning. So it took me to Merlin. This particular property is right here, but it shows me it's in PD 363 sub area 1. So I have a residential property that's zoned for residential, and then there are these sub districts. This is a sub district for PD 363. Okay. So now that I have that, I'm going to go to GenSpark AI, assuming that it wants to work, and I'm going to give it a prompt. And I say specifically, I'm purchasing a home at 2417 Merlin Street in Dallas, Texas. It's zone residential and it's in PD 363, Subdistrict 1. Can I build a carport in the back of the home? If so, do I need a permit? The reason that I like GenSpark AI is that it will go find the exact location of the property in real time and will start using parallel searches and parallel reading while it's looking at my question. So you can see what it's pulling up. It's reading DallasCityHall.com with this PDF. It's doing it again for building codes, for searching for different building codes in Dallas. Now it's going to find me carport requirements for Texas, doing the same thing. This way, whenever I send this information to my client, it'll be easy for me to go up here and find where exactly we found it. So that way I can send it to my client as well. Let's see. So it's still giving me the research, which is perfect. And again, I know it's reading through multiple things, whereas if I go to ChatGPT, it doesn't read URLs. ChatGPT does not read URLs. You have to copy paste everything from a URL into ChatGPT, which takes a lot of time whenever you're doing something like this. So I'm going to wait on this portion to be complete, and then we're going to go back over to this. Actually, that's a lie. Let's see if we can pull it up. So we have the City of Dallas. Here we are. This is what it's going to give me now. It gives me a zoning analysis, permit applications, and here's exactly what I want. It has to be 200 square feet or less. It tells me the location. It tells me if I need a building permit. It tells me the setbacks, special carports, special carport provisions, exceptions, construction requirements, engineering standards. Then it gives me the next steps in order to go and give to my client so that way they can speak to the Dallas building inspection people themselves if this is something that they want to do. So I use GenSpark AI all the time for deep research analysis. And what you'll do
Hey,
is you'll go
Lacey, real quick, do you use the free version?
I do.
Yeah, Lacey always uses the free version. Just
Yeah.
just if there's a free version, she will use it. So,
Yeah, girl.
yeah, a couple people were asking.
Sorry, yeah, this is
Thank you.
this is free. You can pay for a larger version, or a more robust version, and that is for things that are not just deep research. So, if I pull over here, it gives me my custom agents, and it will do things for me like making an AI spreadsheet. It will make videos for me. It will make phone calls for me. It will turn videos into a podcast for me. Those things are more robust and cost more credits to do. So the harder thing or the thing that takes the most time for a machine to do, the larger the charge. So this deep research tool will always be free because it is not very much like output for a computer to do. But when I start doing things like the IKEA ad, I will usually have to start paying for things after that because I'm using AI to develop photos and videos, which this can do for you in a different way. So that is really what I use my AI tools for right now in a really high level. And I'm happy to answer any questions about them at the end of the call. But right now, I'm also ending with 2 minutes left.
Y'all are so good. Good, then I can yap for a little bit. I mean, can we talk about my friends, guys? Like, what? Right? I know. We only hang out with the best. We only hang out with the best. So, let's give Kim and Lacey a high five if we wanna give them a high five, because that's some good shit, right? That is amazing. Like I said, we like to get to it. We don't have time to waste, right? We gotta get moving. So, um, yeah, amazing, amazing. I feel like you held out on me though, Lacey, because I feel like there's some things in there that you had not told me, you know. All right. So
Whenever you're ready, I'm happy to show them to you.
I know, and then my problem is I'm literally like, oh my
Yeah.
God, I can't.
We're working on Hey Gen AI with you right now. And by the way, you need to finish that so that way I can finish setting up for you. Thanks.
I know. Okay, thanks. I'll do.
Okay, thanks so much.
I'll do that. So absolutely amazing. Give me a one if you guys are going to start using it. And then I'm expecting to see all of you reviewing the podcast tomorrow because you're going to be like, what'd she say? And remember, we're going to upload it. It'll be ready around noon tomorrow on the Happy Agent podcast. So you guys can all watch it back because if we're spending time sitting here recording this, I'm not going to film a podcast this week because we work smart, not hard, right? Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I am up next, and if what Lacey said has you a little bit like me, where you're like, "Can I just pay somebody to do it for me, please?" Um, we're going to shift over to my side of the brain where we talk about content and creating content and actually getting your phone to ring because I love filming content. And as much as I do, if I wasn't making money off of it, y'all would not see me on the social medias. I would be the one in your comments making snarky comments and never posting. Yeah, there's some of you. There's some, not in this group, but so we're going to talk about that. So Kim, how do I share my screen? Okay, so that's
Okay, let's
me. Look at
see.
me
You should
go.
you should have there you go.
All right. So this feels like super fitting for me. Not that I think my life is a mess, but we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about the art of storytelling, which is really a big topic right now as we go into 2026. And I think there's such a place for this. I love the AI. I'm going to be getting on it because my worry is as I move through cancer treatments and lose my hair, I want to have something that look like me. So I'm going to be diving into the AI of it all as well. because it's amazing. If you got things going on and you can't post, you've got something that looks like you. Maybe on a day you were feeling really good, you took your AI video and you've got that energy that will carry you through, because the energy and the charisma behind showing up on social media is what converts. And I have this conversation when we uh, teach social media classes. Lacey and I do the Social Agent Society together. And I will hear, well, I did all of the things you told me and nothing is happening. And then I pull up the video and it's like with a name tag on. Hi, I sell homes in McKinney, my name, and nobody is watching that. No one's watching that. So even if you're going through the steps, the big piece you're probably missing is one, charisma, and you're not telling a story. So I'm going to talk to you about the mess being your message and just really owning your shit and not being afraid to put things out there and moving through it and sharing, because when you share your message, that's when people connect with you. And I've said this before because I share, but it's always real estate related. It always comes back to something with real estate. And because I share that, I am giving my value to other people. They're connecting with me. Then I follow up with other more specific real estate videos where I talk about, I know the contract. I talk about how I negotiate. Those are the videos that get me business. But the ones that get me in front of that client who does not negotiate my compensation, and the one who asks me if I have time to help them list their $1.2 million house, are the ones who connect with me through the mess. So they play hand in hand. And if you can implement some of these things, and then Lacey's algorithm strategy, which if you've gone to any of our classes, she shares, you've got a hit on your hands. So, all right, I'm going to share my next slide. That's a picture of me. I was 3 and I was smoking. It absolutely horrifies my mother. So that is really the only reason that I'm sharing it.
That needs a side by side with Post Malone picture.
Right? I mean, yeah. The best part is I was like, Mom, I have matches in my hand. And she's like, no, you did not. Oh, I sure do. And we were in Big Bear in California. I found this behind the bed at the house we rented. So first of all, gross. But secondly, yay, 1979. So that's me. So I have all kinds of stories. We all have all kinds of stories because we have lived. So how do you discover your story that you want to share? Oftentimes when I have talked to people and I'll go to events and things like that, people will come up and tell me, well, I don't want to share my story because I'm in the middle of it. So there's a couple different ways you can share your story. I share a lot about, when Gabe and I lost all of our money and we had to start over. I've already become the hero to that story. I've already made it through the other side. So that story becomes inspiring. If you're in the middle of it, if you're in the middle of your story and it doesn't feel like you've gone all the way through, it's still an inspiring story to share, but you have to be your own hero while you share it. If you're sharing stories where you're whiny and you feel sorry for yourself, that is not going to connect with people. So if you're going to share something, make sure that you're the hero in whatever it is, even if you're going through it. And don't be afraid to share that. Because again, these are the stories that are connecting you with people that will, when you get in front of them for a real estate transaction, you've already shown your value and they know you. It's that parasocial relationship. They're watching you and they know you. So you got to be yourself. Okay, so the first thing is you're discovering your story. And I'll tell you too, I will take all of these slides that everybody has, and I have a QR code at the end of this that you can scan to go down and sign up for the Happy Agent, and they will be listed there. So you guys can grab all of these there sometime tomorrow if you didn't grab them now. All right, so let's talk about discovering your story. So what's a moment that changed you? We've all had some big moment that has changed us. What's a setback you had? What's something amazing that happened to you? A big surprise, a big leap, something that changed you. That's the start of your story. What did you learn that somebody else needs to hear? And this is huge because we all have things that we want to share or we want to say, and we're like, nobody's going to care. And we do this with real estate videos all the time. I will film something and post it. And Shalana, my girl Shalana, she's so funny. I'll post something and she'll text me and she's like, damn it, Courtney. I was going to talk about that. And I talked about that today in a class I was teaching, and I just didn't post about it because I didn't think anyone would care. And I'm like, well, 5,000 views later, somebody cares, Shalana. And so I always tease her about that. So we think people don't care, but in fact, they actually do. So what is something that you think somebody else needs to hear, but maybe you just need a little encouragement and structure behind sharing it? Because your lesson becomes somebody else's lifeline. So your lesson is somebody else's lifeline. And when you can give somebody a lifeline, whether it's in real estate or just out there being friends and being a good person, it fills you as well. So how did it change the way you showed up today? Your experience, your bias, all of the things that we have in our subconscious changed the way we show up today. I was super excited to show up today because I absolutely love these people on the call. And everyone who showed up, we put this out. It was kind of a last minute. I was like, I want to help people. I can feel the anxiety of 2026 looming. What can we do to help our people? And I reached out to Kim and Lacey and Ryan, and they're like, within seconds, yep, I'll be there. Yep, I'll move something and I'll be there. And when your people show up for you and show up to serve and help other people, they're your people. So how did you show up today? I showed up with a lot of excitement. I may have been dancing to Taylor Swift as well this morning. I spared Kim that. So this story and how you show up, that's the bridge between your story and your outcome. All right. Did anyone know this person right here? It's my boyfriend, Dr. Now Zarden. I know Lacey dies. I was Dr. Now for Halloween, by the way. I was. So I have an obsession with my 600-Pound Life show, and he's the doctor on that show. So I want to tell you this story because we all hear the real estate stories, but I want to, and this takes your brain into something else. So when you're telling a story, and it can be a quick 2-minute story that you're sharing on social media about something, somehow you helped a client, there was an outcome, something went wrong, it was funny, whatever it is. So for me, it was actually, Kim, when we were going down to the cruise the last time, when we did the closers cruise the first time, and Gabe and I had stopped in Houston and we were early. And so I said, you know what, go by Dr. Now's office. It was it was already late. So we didn't even know if he would be there. And we pull into the parking spot and we parked in the handicap parking spot because all of the people on the show park in this one parking spot. And the parking lot was empty. And so I was like, you got to park there. So he parks there and he's like, you're nuts. And I'm like, I know. And so then I get out and I try the front door and the door is locked. They have closed. And I was like, shut up, so close to a goal of mine. And so I started to walk away. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go, maybe I can peek in, see the waiting room and the double-sized chairs. I was super excited. So I'm creeping, I'm looking like this. And I look in one of the side windows and I see Dr. Now sitting at his desk. And I was just oh, all the adrenaline just went through my body. And so I paused for a minute and I turned around and I started walking back to the car. And the whole time I'm like, knock on the door, knock on the door. If you ruin this moment, Courtney, I swear to God, you're never going to get it back. So Gabe's looking at me. He's sitting in the car and he's on the phone with my parents. And I'm probably telling him, your daughter's unhinged. And he's like this, come on. And I was like, ah, and I turn and I walk back to the door and I knock on the door. And he looks like this from his desk down the hallway. And I'm like this, 6 feet tall, and you can see how little he is. And I'm like this through the window. Come here. Come here. Next thing I know, his Israeli security guard opens the door, and he's just big, and he's standing there, and he goes, yes. And I said, I came to see Dr. Now. And he was like, mm-mm. Next thing you know, Dr. Now walks up next to him, and he's standing there. And I said, I'm so sorry. I'm just in town and I just love you so much. And I just wanted to come say hi. I said, is that weird? And the security guy goes, yes. And Dr. Now goes, come in. Oh my God. He steps to the side. I walk in, we start walking down this hall. And I'm like this to Gabe. So I could only imagine what he's telling my parents. So we walk down the hall and he takes me to where they weigh them. And one of the nurses was there that's on the show all the time. Her name's Rose. And I said, "Hey, Rose, would it be weird if I weighed myself while I'm here?" And she was like, "No, go ahead." And I didn't because I didn't want to know. And doctor now goes, "Give me 5 minutes and I'll be back." And so I was like, okay, this is so crazy. So I'm so excited. I'm standing there. And a few minutes later, he comes back and he put on his doctor jacket and the glittery stethoscope. I freaking died. And he took pictures. And how kind that this man opened the door to some crazy ass lady who was knocking on his door after hours and then went and put on the outfit for me. Like, literally one of the best days of my life. You can see, like, you can't even see my eyes. I'm literally smiling so hard. And I had the dumbest ass outfit on because we had driven down from Dallas and I was just being comfortable and it was cold. Regrets, but that's okay. And this is like absolutely one of the best days. And I made one decision and I didn't let fear stop me because, well, what was he going to do? I mean, the worst case, right? Was going to tell me to go away. The best case is I have the best story ever. And I had such a great moment and a connection with somebody that I just carry with me. So, um, anyways, that's my Doctor Now story. And I wanted to share that because as I went through it, I hope we hit all of the steps. Maybe not. It's not about perfection, but when you go online and you're telling a story, and I think in contrast to all of the AI that's going to flood us over the next year in 2026, because it is such a hot topic right now, people are going to start craving real filmed storytelling, right? We always go the opposite way. My 15-year-old daughter has a collection of records and CDs. I'm like, dude, we threw them all away. CDs. Like, we always go from one extreme to the other. So in the noise of AI, I want to encourage you to also film some storytelling videos that connect. And here's kind of your outline of how you're going to do it. So when we talk about confidence, consistency, and conversion, how storytelling becomes strategy. So confidence, when you show up in repetition and realness. Talk to your camera. Like I always say, pretend it's the first time you're FaceTiming somebody. Like something goes down, something crazy happens, like you're out in public. Who's the person that you're going to call first? And make it a FaceTime call. And you're like this on FaceTime. "Oh my God, I have to tell you something. This is so freaking wild." And you're like giddy to share the hot tea. That's the energy that you're going to bring to your storytelling. So authenticity is what converts. When I get phone calls from clients or agents who refer me, they're like, "You're just so authentic." And there's a connection there. So vulnerability and certainty. So I'm not vulnerable without certainty. So when I talk, I'm very like I'm in command of what I'm saying. Even if I have emotions, the emotions can still be in check and I'm delivering my message. Again, if you're showing up and you're whining or you're being negative, that is never going to convert. It's going to repel. So don't do that. And being consistent, creating momentum, and then proof when you show up. And conversion is a byproduct. They don't buy your offer, they buy you. They don't buy your offer, they buy you. And how do they get to know you? By you sharing authentically stories that you're dealing with every day in real estate or your life. How does that connect with real estate? There is am I late? No, I got a little bit of time. I always share the example of if you have kids and when they're little, and if they're sick or they're home from school or whatever, a lot of times they want to watch the same cartoon over and over. And on top of that, not only the same cartoon, but the same episode or movie. And I'm like, my God, how many times are you going to watch freaking Frozen, Finley? And it's because she's seen it so much. It's like me with 600-pound life. Like I'll put it on and sit on my laptop and work because there's no surprises happening. It's comforting to me. Like Frozen was comforting to her. She knew what was going to happen. So your nervous system just kind of settles down because you know what to expect. If you see somebody on social media day in and day out, when you're on your lunch break and you pull up your TikTok or your Instagram and you're like, "There's my friends," and we do this too. There becomes this comfort in that person. What are they doing? What's the update? You know what to expect from them because the content stays the same. That's when conversion happens. So I've seen this in social media, coffee dates. If you're in my sphere of influence, I do a Sunday Standard email, and it has been very successful. And it is the art of storytelling in an email. And I have a topic every Sunday. Maybe it's something I'm going through. The topics are all evergreen. So as you come into my sphere of influence and you get those emails, they flow. It's not like a Merry Christmas email or anything like that. They keep flowing. So you're in the flow of it. And it's lessons that I have learned. And my tagline is, it's not real estate advice, it's just real life. And it goes out Sunday at 8 o'clock. And by 10 o'clock, I have emails from people who have read what I said, or I get text messages the next day about how timely sometimes my message is. And I always go back to say that connection that I shared once, how, Gabe and I, when the kids were under the age of 5, 2 kids under the age of 5, and we were living on $60 a week food budget. And I've shared that. And I had one client, she sits on the board at Walmart, insanely successful woman. She messaged me and she's like, I've never told you this, but I used to be on food stamps. I've said that connection that she and I have over that conversation far exceeds me telling her what the interest rate is every week, because she's not buying a damn house and she doesn't care. But I'm making a connection with her and she knows what I do. That's the thing. People know we're in real estate. And if they don't know you're in real estate, that's another conversation. But we talk about real estate. We're out there. We share real estate. You need moments where you connect with people outside of that. That gets away the salesy feeling. People, I don't want to be salesy. Well, show up in a different form. Stop selling. Stop selling. When I'm on social media, I don't sell. Lacey does not sell. We're just ourselves. All right, so here's this. If you guys want to click on, if you want to scan that QR code, it goes to my landing page. And if you scroll all the way down, it'll say the Happy Agent. You can sign up there. And I'm going to make it super easy for y'all. I'm going to email tomorrow everybody all of these slides. But you have to sign up, because I'm not going to do it one at a time. Actually, I pay someone to do my CRM because that's where I am in life. I can't do it. I can't do it. I tried, but thanks to that rev share, it pays for it. All right. What questions do we? I don't even know how to go back. How do I go back? Stop. Oh, I'm stop sharing. Okay. Everyone scan. Are we good? Okay. All right. Did that help? Did you guys kind of go through the story with me? And what are the things that you're getting from the story? Like, oh, that's funny. Oh, that there's been moments where I've wanted to walk away and I didn't have the courage. Oh, Courtney has the courage. Maybe I'll have the courage to do it next time. There's a saying, right? Do it for the gram. Do it for the story. Do it for the gram. Like, how are we showing up? And then how are we sharing that blessing with other people? Because it's a blessing. Our stories are blessings. And so I did a little experiment, and you guys know that I have breast cancer, and probably starting chemo next week. And so in order to center my mind on this, I did what Courtney does, and I created a new TikTok account. And then I created the TikTok account so I can see how it performs compared to what I'm doing on real estate. So it's called Just a Girl with Cancer. It's on Instagram too, but Instagram doesn't love me as much as TikTok does. So I started it about 3 weeks ago, and I have almost 3,000 followers, people from all different countries. And I just talk about my journey with cancer. I tell stories, I show emotion, I share facts, I share information. And what I'm finding is it hits over there too. So I was like, is what I did with social media, was it a fluke? Did I just hit it at the right time? No, it works. It works. It's storytelling, it's connecting with people, and it's delivering something that they need and want. So you're creating that relationship. So it works. All right. Let me see. Well, good. Ashley said it's clicking, the information that we're sharing today. What else do I have for you? So I'm going to send you guys that. And then I think that is it for me. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments. But all right, so we have gone through business planning. We have gone through Lacey's crazy AI, and we have gone through the art of storytelling, which is a great contrast to all of the AI. I'm telling you guys, we're going to see so much AI out there because everybody is talking about it, that you're going to stand out by doing real storytelling and showing up online. You're going to, because people are going to be craving that more than ever. So, all right, with that, you all know my business therapist who is now turned into my cancer coach. We have pivoted. Um, I started working with Ryann, about a year and a half ago, when I did my biggest year ever at $30 million. And then I proceeded to cry all New Year's because I thought I will never do better. How do I top that? This still feels horrible. I hate it. What is wrong with me? And Gabe was like, "You need some help, girl. Like, what is happening?" And so Ryann came across my TikTok and I reached out to her and I was like, "I don't even know what you do, but I've seen a couple of your videos and I feel like you can help me." And so she asked me, she was like, "You hit your goal. How did it feel?" And I was like, "Well, horrible." And then I proceeded not to sell anything the first quarter. And she goes, "Well, that doesn't really surprise me because you can't have a happy ending without a happy journey." And I was like, "Yes, you can." And she's like, "Well, how'd it go?" And I was like, "Horrible. I mean, you might be onto something, ma'am." And that started our conversation. And Ryann has brought some peace to my life.
Mm.
Instead of always looking for the wrong thing to happen, because I thought it was my superpower, is I can see in a transaction or in like all of the bad things that are going to happen. That's what makes me so good. Well, what I didn't realize is I was bringing them to me, not only to me, but to my clients, and that causes drama. So, in that simple shift of what if you looked for good and not for the wrong? And in since doing that, the amount of opportunities and things that have come into my life that have blessed me, my family, all of my friends and people that I work with, because I believe in sharing the blessings, have been tenfold. I mean, I couldn't even have scripted this. That's how just amazing it's been, just because I've been able to change my thought. It's still a work in progress. But with that, Ryan's going to share how we can move forward in our business and our lives, and maybe find some actual peace in what we do. So take it away, Ryann.
Hi guys. Good morning. Courtney, when she asks you to do things like this, like she said, you always say yes, right? You're like, I'm gonna figure this out. We're gonna do this. I don't often think a lot about things like that. She just said yes. And I didn't realize that she was going to put me at the end behind Kim and Lacey and Courtney. And I was like, awesome. Thanks for letting me close after the three of you. But I didn't think it through at all. And I'm excited to be here. I don't have slides because I knew that this conversation would evolve. And so if I sat down and tried to plan for this conversation, I wouldn't have gone along with it anyway. So I'm going to address some of the things Courtney asked me to address with you guys, which was really around, why does our energy have to match the business you say that you want? Because one of the things that all three of the people who shared before me showed up as is exactly like Courtney said, they showed up and they owned it. They were certain, they were confident. There was no, maybe my one-page business plan might work, right? Kim believes in her heart of hearts in her one-page business plan, right? Lacey believes in her heart of hearts that AI is an incredible tool and that she knows how to hack the algorithms, right? Courtney believes in her heart of hearts that she is an incredible storyteller and that will always carry her, right? And I poke at her a little bit because you heard her at the end where she said, the work that I do, it just works, right? Like the storytelling works. It works because Courtney believes that it works, right? All of the tools that everyone shared with you today, they work because they believe that they work. And so you have to believe that you're going to run a successful business. You have to believe that people want to do business with you. You have to believe that your stories are interesting. And that is such a big part of business that we don't talk about, right? And that's actually why I'm not a realtor, guys. Like when I hear the stories, I'm like, okay, this is amazing. That is not for me. When you guys were like, I had to buy somebody a green egg. And I was like, and I don't need a real estate license ever. Thank you. No, I'm just kidding. I love real estate. A lot of my work is with real estate, but that's why I like Reels so much, is because when Courtney got into that space, it was just this huge, like, they talk about mindset and they talk about how does it feel, and it talk about quality of life, and they talk about quality of who you surround yourself with in a way that I've not seen in some of my other clients and other brokerages, because that's such a big part of business. And I had a 15-year corporate career where nobody addressed this stuff, right? They were just like, here's the steps, follow my 5 steps, and you will be successful. And marginally, you will, right? But if we all have the same 5 steps, why are some people wildly successful and others not? If we all have, Kim has openly shared that business planning document, right? I've seen it all over social media. She will hand it to you, right? But why does everybody not have the success that Kim and the people she mentors have? It's because of what they believe. They believe in the plan, and so the plan works, right? So your energy has to match the plan that you make. So when you sit down to make the plan this year, it can't be, well, I hope next year I sell XYZ number of houses, and I hope that TikTok finally works out for me, and I hope that, I make enough money to attend that event that I want to attend. That's not how we plan for a successful year. Our energy has to match. It has to say, I am writing this plan from the place of, I know that it's done. This is what I'm doing. It's a commitment to this is what I'm doing, not to this is what I hope happens. And your energy needs to match that, right? The way you create this plan, who you are, when you guys sit down to use any of the tools that were shared with you here today, and they were all incredible. I want you to ask yourself the question before you do anything with them: is the version of me who is using this tool powerfully and correctly and believes in it, how do they show up? How do they use this tool? What story do they tell? Right? And spend as much time relating to the version of you who hits all of these goals than the version of you that crosses your fingers and prays that you do. Because that's really the only difference between success and failure, in my opinion. First of all, I don't really believe in failure. I think we just all learn a lot of ways that don't work, right? And I think that's part of the journey. And the faster you realize that, and the faster you move through that, don't make it mean anything about you, the more successful you will be, first of all. But the people who are wildly successful are the people who use the tools because they believe in the tools. But their power is in who they are when they use the tools, right? We all have access to incredible tools. You are all part of teams, brokerages, masterminds, communities that give you tools. Why don't the tools work for everyone? Because it's the hand using the tools. So when you start thinking about what do I want to create, and actually with my clients, I love y'all so much, but let's not pretend that 2025 is over. I've had several clients have deals come out of nowhere and close within weeks. So to say, well, if I didn't do it yet in 2025, I ain't gonna, that's probably not gonna get us where we wanna go either, right? I'm open for opportunities all of the time. That's what Courtney is so great at, right? Courtney, what's your mantra that you say every morning about being open for opportunities?
My mantra is, my name's Courtney Benson. Only good things happen to me. Money, business, and opportunities flow to me all day, every day, and I have the ability to see it. That's it.
Boom.
And I believe it
Every day.
every day.
And that's the difference, because some of us roll out of bed in the morning, and I used to be one of them, so no judgment, and said, I hope something happens today. I hope something happens today. I hope that that thing works. I hope that that social media post, I hope that that deal actually goes through, right? Instead of with that, when you wake up with that, you create results like Courtney creates. And she creates those results from a belief in who she is and how she shows up. And yes, she will repeatedly tell you, I'm still a work in progress. We're all a work in progress. When we're finished, we're dead, right? We're all a work in progress all of the time. You're either growing or you're dying. So when you sit down and think about not what am I going to do in 2026, but who am I going to be in 2026? Kim made a great point about habits, right? One of the things, the habit that I committed to December of last year was the gym 3 times a week. And I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that I started in January, because I didn't start until April. But since April, I have only missed that, my 3 times a week, probably 4 times. Right? I could have been like, well, it's April. I didn't start in January. Meh. not that important. It was like, no, when I set these goals for myself, I wanted to be the person who did what she said she was going to do. And so it's not just the goal, it's not just the activity, they're tools. You're the asset. You guys understand this very well as realtors. You are the asset. The tools are just tools. But when you take care of the asset, then you can use the tools to the best of your ability. So Courtney always wants me to make it practical. You guys like practical things. But instead of, and I'm going to actually marry a little bit of Courtney, what I normally tell you and what Kim talked today about business planning. So one of the best tools I've ever given Courtney, and she talks about it often, is when she's going into meetings and conversations, especially when she's nervous or anxious about, like, we did this with her oncologist, and we did this with, when she was leaving her last brokerage, and we've done this in tough client conversations where it's like, Courtney, before you walk in that room, I want you to write down how you want it to go. How do you want the conversation to go? What is the resolution you're looking for? What is for the highest and best, right? Every single time she was walking into a conversation, she would write it down. And I would say, we're pretty close on 100% success rate of that working really well for Courtney. Okay. So if you take that energy into that business plan or whatever form you're going to use, it's not a hope, it's not a wish, it's not a maybe. It's I'm literally deciding ahead of time what the actions I'm going to take to create the business I want to create from the identity of the person who knows that those goals are done. And when you marry the plan with the certainty and the identity, that's where magic happens. Kim, you pointed that out really beautifully where you're like, yeah, I kind of left the emotional part out of it, right? Like we have a tendency to pick one or the other, right? We pick the plan and we leave the emotions at the door, right? We leave the intentions and the identity at the door. Or what I have done in the past is I've thrown the plan to the wind and been like, I'm going to go full on intuitive over here. And that works okay too. But having bumpers is valuable in life because life does get crazy, right? So when you marry identity, who you believe yourself to be, who you're going to be in your business, a really solid plan with the idea that it's a decision and not a hope, like you can't not win. You cannot not win. So the practical tool I want to give you is when you sit down to use the tools that you have been given is I want you to decide ahead of time. How's this going to go? Who am I going to be? Am I going to be somebody who's overwhelmed by tech and AI? And you can be that person because Courtney's that person, but Courtney also pays other people to figure it out for her. So she doesn't say, tech's not for me, not going to use it. She says, tech and AI is not for me, but I see its value, so I'm going to pay somebody to use it for me. So she's not rejecting the tool. She's finding a way that aligns with her identity of who Courtney is and what she's really good at, which is storytelling and being charismatic and negotiating homes, right? And she pays other people to do use the tools that are really valuable, but that she doesn't need to do herself. But again, we get to choose somebody who's bad at tech and just doesn't use it, or somebody who's like, I'm going to figure tech out, or I'm going to pay somebody else to figure tech out for me so I can stay in my zone of genius. Right? So just being really mindful of identity, focus. And every time I say this often to my clients, and I'll wrap up on this, your word is your wand. I want you guys to remember that. Your word is your wand, like a magic wand, right? What you speak about yourself, about your business, about the market, about the people you serve comes true. So if you think that the market is shit and nobody is successful, that's what you're going to get. Okay? If you think that nobody sees the values in realtors and everybody wants to negotiate your commission, that's what you're going to get. If you think that dealing with asshole clients is just part of the gig and you just have to take it because they come with a paycheck, that's what you're going to get. So for me, I want to choose that people love to work with me. People love paying my commission. They see so much value in the professional service that I provide. I have great clients who respect me and see the value of what I do, right? Those are the beliefs I want to hold. So think about it. When we use these tools, what beliefs do you want to hold? How do you want to show up? And when you set goals, final thing, Courtney gave me one more. I was like, my notes over here. How do we set really aligned intentions and goals for 2026? I'm going to give you just one thing. As you use your business plan, and Kim actually said this, I want you to think about how it feels. That's the only thing I want to add to your goals. How does it feel? Does it feel Are you excited about it, right? Does it feel hopeful? Does it feel optimistic? Does it feel like freedom, right? Like putting these things in place gives me so much freedom to go out and do the things I want to do. Pair the feeling with the plan. That's how we set aligned intentions. If we just look for numbers, number of transactions, number of dollars, we're out of balance, right? If we just go for I want it to be so much fun and amazing, we're also out of balance. It's the fun and the amazing and the numbers have to meet. And so add the feeling into your plans, add the identity on top of that, and you'll be unstoppable in 2026.
Thank you, Ryann. All right, everyone, let's give Ryann a high five. Was that amazing? And I think she just always hits, hits what I need. And I appreciate that. And I think it's something that we should hear and we should talk about more because we're so inundated with, courses and masterminds and all of the things. And we have so many tools, but it gets overwhelming. Well, good news, Jennifer. So this is going to be up on the Happy Agent podcast tomorrow. So you guys can watch this back at your leisure. I don't know if you scanned my QR code before. Let me see if I can pull it up. Here's the QR code here. If you guys want to scan that and get dropped into my CRM, you'll get my Sphere of Influence email every Sunday. But you'll also tomorrow be able to go grab everything. And then I'm just going to email it to you guys so you don't have to check back because we work smarter, not harder. All right. Well, that is it for us today. Everyone give me in the chat what your one takeaway is. Give me your takeaway. What are you going to implement? What helped you today? Own it. All right, hold on. I'm not techie, so I'm trying to move my screen around. Okay, there we go. All right. Storytelling, AI, business planning, mindset, all of it. All right. Remember what Kim said. If you don't start implementing in the next 7 days, you could not implement it. So, and like Ryann said, the year is not over. It's not over, right? We're going to keep going. For the first time ever, I had a cap. I've never had a cap in my 13 years of real estate, and finally have a cap at Real. It's so nice. And it started over in November 1st. And I was like, oh my God, like, okay, it's like you just have to start all over. And we're one transaction away from capping again. So the year's not over. And we've had a lot of stuff going on, right? Cancer and contracts. That's going to be, Ryann just died inside a little bit. Cancer and contracts, #2026 coming at you. So it is totally possible. It is what you believe it is. So if you believe the year's over, your year's over, go watch a Hallmark show. If not, we're still here. We're still working. People still need to buy homes and we got people to help. All right. So with that, thank you guys. We're going to stick around for some Q&A. So if you have any questions for any of us, we're here to keep the conversation going. I would love, Kim, if you would spend 5 minutes for the people who missed Rise the Hey Leo in a little bit more detail about exactly that tech looks like that's going to help us get our life back because we're all getting assigned a phone number and we're able to communicate with our clients who it creates a database. Look at me just telling it.
I mean, you kind of know it.
Attention. So Kim's going to tell you what that looks like
Sure.
because it's pretty incredible.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Yeah, so if you are sticking around, I will show my screen, but before I do that, they announced basically there were, to me, 4 big pieces of tech that I took away. One is called the Leo Companions. So for current agents, we've always had Leo, which is an AI chatbot inside of our dashboard that makes our lives easier. I often call him my boyfriend whenever I'm explaining the dashboard to anyone new. But they have beefed him up. Leo got beefier, which awesome. One is he's got a broker companion side of things where if you've got broker questions, He's ready to answer them because over the last 12 months, all of our broker teams from all 50 states have been feeding Leo their state and local information. So, in terms of your rules, your regulations, your contracts, Leo's learning like constantly. So, he's got a broker companion and he's also got a support companion. So, if you've just got a question about tech or marketing questions or something like that, then it's going to answer those as well. And you can talk to it. So you're not typing, you can actually voice activated, you can talk to it. And what's cool is it got smarter and Leo can sense if we're getting frustrated. Because when he senses if we get frustrated, it will actually escalate our question to a real human, which is super, super cool. The second component is there is a Leo for our clients. So it's called heyleo.com. You could go to heyleo.com now. They are by the end of Q1, we'll have all of our MLSs incorporated with Heyleo. And what that means is, as we're talking to one of our buyers, Leo can help them find the home that they're looking for even better than we can. How can it do that? It goes something like this. They're going to have a conversation with Leo about what they're looking for, and they may get really granular and specific, like, Leo, I really want my kitchen to face west so I can see the sunset. And we all know that inside of our MLS, there is not a search filter for faces west, can see a sunset. You don't check that box. But what Leo's going to do is he's not just going to scan MLS data, he's going to scan the freaking photos and look for kitchens that might and know what direction that house faces and be able to show a home to a client and say, well, what about this one? Better than we could. And what's even better, but wait, there's more component, is it's creating an AIRM, not a CRM, an AIRM. So as we're having these conversations with Hey Leo, Leo's building out a consumer profile for each person we're talking to. Is putting information like they have a family, they have 3 kids, they want the house with the blue counters, and making all these notes for us that we will be able to access inside of our dashboard on Reason and pull up those conversations. This dashboard is going to have, we can brand it to ourselves. So as our consumers are talking to Hey Leo, we can pick one of the voices that they have, or get this, we can upload our own voice and they will be talking to us. Right? So amazingly cool. And then the other component, not as exciting, but they did announce a partnership with Maxa Designs in terms of our marketing. And so what's neat about this is because now that is also paired with our MLS data. And as we're creating marketing tools, flyers and such, we can immediately have access to our photos and data, and it makes our content creation or our marketing piece creation much quicker than we could before. Is that kind of, you wanted me to give that
Yeah,
overview?
no, that's good. But wait, there's more.
What did I
Uh,
miss?
because we don't like real estate as a hobby. We like it to support our families. Real is actually going to pay us to use the technology.
Yeah.
So depending on how much time, I know Gen Con's like, what? Yeah. So depending on how much time, correct me if I'm wrong, because I half listen, that we're spending on the platform, using it with our clients, they are going to give us money for doing it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so this will roll out sometime middle of the year. And the reason they're doing that is because they want to make Leo smarter. And the only way it can do that is by usage of us. And so they will pay us, I think, by minute that we are using or by conversation. And so rather than, Tamir started out, well, how much would you pay for tech like this? Would you pay $10 a month? It was kind of funny. And we're like, sure. He's like, well, first of all, you're getting it for free. It's going to be implemented into all of your dashboards. But in fact, we're going to pay you. And like the whole audience was like, what? And it was just one jaw-dropping moment after another. So it was very, very excited. So let me just pull up real quick my screen so you can see that some of it has already been implemented today. And so let's go over here. All right. So on the side over here, if I'm looking at Leo, you now see that there's companions that are built in. So you can choose support if you just have a support question. If you've got a broker question, you can click broker if it's more contracty or local specific question. And then just for fun, shits and giggles, I played with this. There's a pirate version. And let's see if I can actually let me stop share and reshare so I can share the audio because this is hilarious. Share sound. There we go. Share. I think I'm sharing the wrong screen. I am. That's great. Hold on. Technology. There we go. There we go. Here we go. And so I go into the pirate. So Leo's got the pirate hat on, and I can click tag to speak. Oh, I gotta
Let's set sail to your next closing. How can I help you?
Can you tell me when does my cap reset? Can you hear me? Nope. Leo, when does my cap reset? Let's just do this.
I think your audio, because he was talking, I don't think your audio is working.
Probably. Okay, but you guys get the picture. So if I weren't screen sharing,
Now we can't hear you. It's like really quiet. Pritesh was so excited about this. Like what's happening with your audio? Our CTO Pritesh, he's also a part-time comedian, like legit, like not kidding. He's a part-time comedian and he's hysterical. And so he has so much fun with all of this. Thank you, Kim. That's exactly what I, wanted to share with everybody. So if you missed the what's it called? What'd we do? What's it called? Convention? Thank you. I don't know. Brain. That was such a big takeaway, and I think it's going to be so huge for us. So thank you. All right. We've got everybody on here. So Ryan, Kim, Lacey, and I, any questions that you guys have about anything that we talked about? And look, Mike Danielson, it replaces the first steps of speaking with the broker. So you can ask broker level questions. And then as you get more and more pissy during the call, it'll escalate it and call them. Look at that. All right. Well, if anyone has any questions, drop them or unmute yourself.
I was gonna say, can I just start talking?
Yeah.
Hey, Jen.
Hi, good to
This
see
is our girl
everybody.
in Houston. And if you guys don't follow her on TikTok, she's amazing. What's your TikTok handle? Really?
I know it. J Lowry XO. I'll put it in here.
Okay.
I'm still trying to reclaim from everybody else who wants to be Jazz the Realtor, but doesn't post anything. I'm trying to see if I can have their handle, but that's neither here nor there. But if you don't do business, you don't need the handle. If you're not doing anything, anyway. But my question, this might be a silly question: is the business that you all are generating from social media from referrals from other agents or clients? Is the target audience other realtors seeing you do work, or is it, I would think that it's clients directly?
No, mine is about 60% agent referral from across the country and about 40% buyers and sellers direct. It used to, the year before, it used to be flip flop that. But I've also, had the happy agent community. I have the podcast. So my reach with real estate agents has grown.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you can talk to both. Do you guys follow Shannon Gillette on Instagram? So Shannon's awesome. She's with Real. I got to chat with her at the luxury event. Lacey and I joined luxury so we could go to the party. It was a good time. And Shannon shares all of the stuff, housing walkthrough videos. She shares about Real. She shares all of the things. And she gets a ton of business from her Instagram. So she's a good one to see the mesh of the two.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Who else has When you live in the suburbs, somebody's always doing a lawn. My neighbor's getting his lawn mowed right now. It's so loud. Go ahead and unmute yourself if you guys have a question. Am I one of the forms of, is that what you're asking, Mike? Am I one of the forms of income at Real? Kim, I don't know what's happening with you. I think the pirate took your voice.
You can't hear me at all?
It's very little. I don't know.
Hey, Courtney, can you hear me?
I can.
So, how does the broker thing work? Is Kim a broker also, or just Stephanie Fetro? And she said there's 6 others. Like, how do we reach out to those people?
Yeah. So Kim is a broker, but she's not the broker. She's not a broker at Real, but she is
Oh,
a
okay.
broker.
But
So
Fetro is, right?
Stephanie
Okay.
Fetro, she is a regional broker. Yeah, so we know all the people. I always go to Kim first. And if for some reason she doesn't answer my call after I'm done crying, I will reach out to Stephanie. I'm not so great at going through the platform. I'm kind of a dick about it. I just start making phone calls. Someone help me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
Anyone got anything else? All right, going once, going twice.
Hey, Courtney, it's Monica. I have a question.
Hi.
Hey, for Lacey. I wanted to know, Lacey, with respect to what you're posting, how do you determine daily? Like, are you creating a content calendar to know what you're posting every day? I'm just kind of curious about how you guys refine that.
Kind of. What I do is throughout the week, I have a draft. It's very, very tech. I have a draft email that goes to my VA, and it gives videos 1 through 14 because I want to post twice a day, every day. And it gives the script and the captions. So then they take the script and upload it into Hey Gen AI and make the video for me. Um, and that's what I really do, and I go off of topical conversations, based off of what we had talked about earlier, and that's kind of how I determine what I wanna post, and then I just watch and see what does the best, which is why I know things like school systems, development talks that aren't spoken about all the time, like, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse with Universal and Frisco, but a lot of people don't know that Dallas City Hall is going to probably get redone and how much money that's going to cost. A lot of people don't know that Bank of America Tower is going to get completely revitalized. So I pull that from the city zoning meetings that we have in Dallas, like once a quarter, and I do the same thing that I did with the news article where I'll take the transcript on YouTube, copy paste it, put it inside of Chat GPT, and ask it to give me bullet points that someone moving to this area would more than likely find interesting, and then I develop videos around that.
Gotcha. Oh my God, thank you. So helpful. Thanks so much.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. We appreciate you being here and really hope this was helpful. We're going to revisit this again in January. I don't really have the dates because there's a cruise happening. So maybe towards the end of January, just to check in with everybody and see what you've implemented. And, we may be in a whole different market by then and how we're going to move forward with that. So with that, thank you guys. I'm going to send you all the email if you signed up, and I'm going to send you the slides and the email, and this will be up on the Happy Agent podcast tomorrow afternoon. Bye, guys.